The war in Elbaph is getting completely out of control. Luffy obliterated a Holy Knight with a brand new Gear 5 attack. Loki finally revealed the terrifying power of his Dragon Devil Fruit, and the Giants discovered a brutal way to break Imu's demonic curse. But that's not all. One of the Straw Hats finally received a massive power upgrade after years of waiting. So let's break down everything that happened on Elbaph's battlefield. The chapter opens with Sanji freeing Robin. Robin was trapped by Summers's thorn vines, but Sanji uses Ifrit Jambe. With a single kick, he burns away all the thorns and frees Robin instantly. Robin thanks him. Nami, Jinbe, and Usopp immediately say, "That's our Sanji." They realize something important. Summers's thorn vines are extremely weak against heat, but Robin reminds everyone they don't have time to celebrate. Sanji says, "Nope, between the hockey and the roaring, what's that shadow?" They see a giant shadow far away, and of course, that shadow belongs to Loki. The scene shifts to Elbaph's western village. All the injured giant parents and children arrive there. Many of them are severely wounded. The children beg for help for their parents. We soon realize that Loki brought them here. Loki literally rescued the children and their families and carried them on his back. Some giants ask Loki to take everyone somewhere safer because the village is still under attack, but Loki responds with his usual attitude. He says, "Not my problem. The only thing I will do to people who climb on my back is dump them off." He then tells Luffy to get off. But as we know, Luffy doesn't listen to others. He ignores Loki and calls out to Zoro. Despite Loki's attitude, something huge happens. Because of Loki bringing the children back, Jirul is finally able to announce across Elbaph that the children have been rescued. This completely destroys the Holy Knight's hostage strategy. The giants no longer need to surrender. Zoro asks Luffy what took him so long and asks, "Is that a dragon?" Luffy replies, "Yeah, it's Loki. And if you are here, then at least this place is safe." Zoro then says, "Now since you're all giant now, you guys should crush those dream monsters before they destroy all of Elbaph." Luffy agrees to it, but then we hear a strange sound. We see Oimo badly injured, and the other parents are also in terrible condition. They say that thorn vines suddenly rained down on them, and before they could understand what was happening, they were already injured. Summers appears again. He's furious that everyone survived. But even in his rage, Summer says something disturbing. He claims the mission has not failed yet, because the children are still alive, so technically he can still take them to marry Geoeyes. Luffy is listening to all this. Summers then uses his thorn vines to create two snake-like structures whose mouths release weapons. He says he'll kill the children's parents in front of them first, but something unexpected happens. The children step forward. They stand between Summers and their parents, and say, "This time we'll protect you." Seeing this triggers something twisted inside Summers. His emotions go completely insane. He starts laughing and says, "I don't care about the mission anymore. Now I just want to kill you all." He says, "I will never forget the bravery written on your little faces. Farewell." Ripley begs Colin to run, but he refuses. He wants to keep her safe. Summers fires his thorns, but before they hit, Zoro appears and instantly deflects all of them. Luffy smiles and says, "Way to go, Zoro. I always believed in you." Summers gets furious. He shouts, asking who did that. Then Luffy jumps into the air. Above him, lightning appears. Luffy grabs one of the lightning bolts and he says, "That's Zoro. Remember the name. He is with me." Then he locks on to Summers. Seeing this, Summers gets terrified. Electricity envelops Luffy's entire arm, and then he unleashes a brand new attack. Gomu Gomu no Dawn Thor Rifle. The punch hits Summers directly. The impact is insane. Summers' body explodes into pieces instantly, and all the thorn vines wrapped around the children disappear immediately. For the first time in a long time, it feels like Luffy attacked with true killing intent, and honestly, Summers deserved it. Ripley sees Luffy in Gear 5, and with her last strength, she says something incredible. She says, "He looks just like Nika. I think he really is the warrior of liberation." Then she collapses, but Summers screams back. He says Nika is nothing more than a bedtime story, but before he can even react, Loki crushes him. Everyone finally sees Loki clearly, and the giants say something shocking. Loki looks exactly like Nidhöggr, the legendary dragon. Meanwhile, far away, Chopper and Gavin are watching everything. Seeing Loki like this reminds Gavin of the day King Harold died. In the flashback, Jirul explains something to Shanks and Gavin. The devil fruit Loki ate is Ryu no Mi, model, Nidhöggr, a mythical dragon devil fruit, and whoever eats it becomes the largest dragon in existence. But the dragon size depends on the user. If a human eats it, it becomes large. If a giant eats it, it becomes even larger. But if an ancient giant eats it, then the fruit reaches its true maximum power. Shanks asks why nobody ate the fruit before. Was it because it was too dangerous? Jirul says no. The fruit was protected by Ragnir, the ancient legend. According to Elbaph legend, there was once a warrior god. That warrior used Ragnir as his weapon, and he was the previous user of the Nidhöggr Devil Fruit. He once fought against the sun god himself, and he wasn't alone. He had a companion, a legendary creature called Ratatosquirrel, the Ice Squirrel. When the warrior died, Ratatosquirrel transferred its soul into Ragnir, and waited for its master to return. Back in the present, Gavin realizes, Ragnir protected the fruit for centuries, but now it has chosen Loki as its master. Then we see the remaining dream monsters created by Killingham start running away, but Loki chases them down. Then he opens his mouth and releases a massive lightning blast, a move he calls Thorheim. The attack completely obliterates all the remaining monsters. Luffy and Ragnir are sitting on Loki watching everything. Imu, possessing Gonko, sees the destruction of the monsters. Then we cut to Mary Geoize. Imu is in the flower chamber. Imu says, so Nidhöggr was in Elbaph all this time. Imu is surprised. This is likely one of the devil fruits Imu has been searching for. Remember, Zebek mentioned 2 legendary fruits needed to destroy the Holy Land and challenge Imu, so Imu would definitely want to obtain them first. And now Imu is furious. The chapter ends here. Chapter 1176 continues the chaos in Elbaph, and this time we jump to another side of the battlefield, where Franky suddenly sees a massive lightning explosion in the distance and has no idea what just happened, and gets completely confused about what's going on. And after a long time, we finally see Franky having a conversation with Lilith. We see Lilith searching inside Vegapunk's box, trying to find something. Franky asks what she is doing with Vegapunk's box. She says she's glad she left this box near the school. Then Lilith pulls out a special machine from it, something we've never seen before. We learn that the machine is called the Omni Drain Converter, or ODC for short. Franky and Bonnie look confused and curious. Lilith then explains something interesting. Energy exists everywhere on Elbaph, and these machines can absorb and convert that energy. Then she asks Franky a question. Have you ever thought about fueling yourself with something other than cola? Franky gets confused, because throughout his entire life as a cyborg, cola has always been his fuel source. But it seems like that's about to change. Meanwhile, at the Walrus School and Library, the situation is disastrous. The entire building is engulfed in flames. Usopp screams in panic and calls the scene the end of the world. Then he notices Loki's giant dragon form in the distance. He even comments that Loki looks bigger than Kaido, but then Usopp realizes something. Luffy is sitting on Loki's back, which means Loki must be on our side. Nami immediately scolds him for panicking. She and Jinbe quickly move to extinguish the fire and save the buildings. Meanwhile, Robin and Sanji check on Saul, who is badly injured but still alive. Nami summons Zeus, who appears in cloud form. Zeus has grown huge because he has been storing rainwater as Nami instructed earlier. Using Zeus, Nami creates a massive rainstorm over the school and library. Heavy rain begins pouring down and slowly starts putting out the flames. But just as things begin to stabilize, Killingham arrives. He says, "This wasn't part of the plan. Who told you that you're allowed to put out the fire?" He reminds them of the agreement. The Giants were supposed to give up their history and knowledge because Drool already announced it earlier. He stops them by ordering one of his dream monsters to attack. The monster, which resembles a lindworm, suddenly appears and swallows Zeus whole. Everyone is shocked, their only hope to stop the fire. Zeus has been captured. The Straw Hats begin to despair, but just then, Lilith activates the Omni Drain Converters. These machines begin absorbing all the heat energy from the burning buildings, and something incredible happens. Instead of fire, the entire school and library become frozen in ice. The flames disappear instantly. Everyone is stunned. These small machines just neutralized a disaster on the scale of an entire island-sized structure. Killingham is stunned. Robin doesn't even understand what just happened. Lilith then does something even more surprising. She takes the energy absorbed by the ODCs and converts it into a new type of cola. She calls it Super Vega Cola. She tosses the bottle to Franky. Lilith explains something shocking. Franky's internal body structure is actually very similar to a pacifista, which is why she was surprised to learn that Franky powers himself with basic cola. But with Super Vega Cola, Franky's energy output will increase dramatically. In other words, Franky is getting a major power upgrade. Meanwhile, Zeus is still trapped inside the Lindworm monster. Zeus calls out to Nami for help. Nami promises she will save him. Robin asks Saul if he can reach the library. Saul says he can. He also understands why Robin looks so worried, because the books in that library are the only historical knowledge they managed to save from Ohara, and now they are in danger again. Killing Killingham then orders the monster to swallow the entire library. He shouts that a new world will soon be born. The monster prepares to devour everything. Jinbe tells Nami not to worry. He says he can free Zeus with one attack. Then Killingham notices Jinbe, and his reaction is disgusting. He says seeing a fishman on the surface makes him sick. He even says he's glad he's wearing a mask so he doesn't have to breathe the same air. Sanji immediately gets furious. He says that Killingham's attitude is exactly the kind of elitist mindset you'd expect from a celestial dragon. Sanji also mocks him for not recognizing a former warlord of the sea. Then Sanji declares he will never forgive him for insulting his friend. And then the Straw Hats attack. Franky activates his new power and launches upward shouting super. Jinbe prepares Fishman Karate. Sanji activates Ifrit Jambe. We then get an incredible double page attack. Franky attacks from above. Jinbe attacks from below. Their combined strike completely destroys the monster's head. Zeus escapes safely. At the same moment, Sanji launches Ifrit Jambe, Concaster Crush. His kick lands directly on Killingham's head and shatters his helmet. This was so satisfying. First we saw Summers getting trashed, and now Killingham. Now the scene shifts to Western Village. The giants are fighting against the demonized giant warriors, but they are struggling. Because the demons regenerate every injury instantly, the battle seems impossible. But then something shocking happens. Dorry and Brogy begin to regain partial control of themselves. They realize what they have done. They spoke about killing Elder Jarul and insulting someone they deeply respect. For Warriors of Elbaph, that is a terrible disgrace. They cannot accept it, so they decide to atone. They say that as Warriors of Elbaph, there is nothing left but to die with honor. And then, they cut off each other's heads. Everyone is shocked. Zoro shouts their names. But suddenly, their bodies regenerate. Their heads reconnect. They come back to life. Jarul realizes something crucial. Death breaks the demonic transformation. That means the demonic reverse ability controlled by Emu can be broken through death. Soon we see Dorry and Brogy fully restored, as if nothing happened. They explain that when they revived, their bodies returned to normal. That means the only way to save the other giants is to kill them first. They suggest cutting off their heads or destroying their hearts, but they hesitate, because those giants are their friends. Then we see an epic panel. Dorry, Brogy, Hadrudin, the new giant warriors, and Zoro all prepare to fight together. Even though they say they feel terrible about killing their friends, they are also strangely excited, because they now know exactly how to defeat the demons. And with that, chapter 1176 ends. And just like that, the rules of this battle change completely. The giants now know how to counter the curse that turned their warriors into demons, which means from this point forward, every battle in Elbaph becomes a fight to the death. And we finally got some great moments from the Straw Hats as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We saw Franky get a new power-up, but what about Usopp? And do you think Emu's ultimate power feels a little too easy to counter now? Until next time, keep that fire burning, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.